Alright, so hello everybody. I'm going to be doing some more casting tonight. Earlier today I casted half a clan wars kind of on a last minute, and it ended up being pretty good. Hopefully I'll be on a roll here and just keep casting some awesome stuff. So today I am going to be casting some of xNJakeBake. He recently, apparently he left XN. He was co-leader of XN, which is not an abbreviation for anything, it's just XN. And he left them to join SP, which is, well, apparently a very good team. He was saying that they're all just like him, grandmasters and, around his level, so he has good practice partners and whatnot, and all that fun stuff. He is a grandmasters player, and he is in the top 200. Saying that is the same as saying he's grandmasters if you don't know. So I am going to start these in a second. Well, I'll show you the clan EP. It's just clanep.org. That's the website for them. They are apparently fairly new. It stands for Eternal Plague, and apparently it's broken down into Eternal Plague and The Plague, and The Plague has a lot more members. So I think Eternal Plague is like the uppermost portion of it, like the top guys, the top guns of the team, and all the other guys are just kind of part of them, like a smaller, well, I guess a larger section of them. And yeah, so xNJakeBake here is on Eternal Plague, not just Plague, so he is, of course, very good. I don't know I should probably bookmark that. Someone's actually going to maybe help me with my website. My website's kind of shoddy. I'll show you it briefly. Here it is. It's just kind of takes a second to load things, and it's just kind of not that awesome. So I'm going to be switching that up. Hopefully he's going to be helping me out with that. So anyways, let's get into these. Let's do some plugging really fast. Actually, let's see if FC is... Oh, apparently not. Let's try Team FC. We just did a clan war against them before, so I just wanted to see if I could get into their channel. Oh, whatever. It is what it is. I'm just gonna do it in Revoke in this place. Alright, well, whatever. Let's just get into these. I might cast some of these older ones, just because there are a lot of really good players in them. But we're going to start out with the ones from the current patch, 1.34. These are from 1.32. So I would have to load those. So anyways, let's start with this one, vileHasHe. Team Vile is a very respectful team. They are quite good, and that's a lot of their members are on the Grandmaster scale, so they're a force to be reckoned with. But anyways, xNJakeBake has spawned at the bottom left here as our red Zerg. I do like casting him a lot just because he does play Zerg, and of course I know the most about Zerg since I play as Zerg. I don't really dabble in the other races. I really need to for my casting, but for now, just it is what it is. Let me check something really quick. Okay. Looks good. Alright, and then in this corner we have vileHasHe spawned as our blue Terran. And he looks like he's probably going to set up that Supply Depot right at the choke there, right at the ramp. Always good call. Against Zerg, you do not want Zerglings in your base. Now, I have seen certain plays where you get a Supply Depot by your base here, and if you're going two barracks, you set up a barracks here and a barracks here, and you can float them over, and it actually works out so that you block in time, and you can put the second Supply Depot here, to completely block it off, and then Marines can go in and out, and SCVs and whatnot. So it's just a good play. It's good against banelings and stuff like that. It's just a good trade-off, if you are going to do that sort of thing. But looks like he's just going to do that normal wall-off with that barracks, and then possibly a second barracks or a factory or whatever he wants to go. Maybe another Supply Depot. We'll find out. Okay, refinery going down. Pretty standard play by Terran. Generally you see your Supply Depot barracks and then refinery. You don't see, say, refinery Supply Depot barracks because the timings wouldn't work out, and you would just be getting a bunch of gas that you don't need, and you wouldn't have minerals for things like a barracks, or your barracks would be late then and it just wouldn't work out. So anyways, xNJakeBake here doing that fast expand. I believe it was a 14, but looks like he's going to go 15 pool. Personally, I do like, what's it called? A hatch on 14 and then a pool on 16, just because the timing works out where you get your hatchery and pool at the exact same time, and then you can get 2 queens out ASAP, and it's just I don't know, it's just a neat way to get them out, and then you get your gas after they're finished, you know, because if you get it too soon while you're doing that kind of play, you just don't have enough for both queens and an overlord, because you need that overlord to get the second queen out if you're constantly droning. So just a heads up. But anyways, it looks like vileHasHe scouted that hatchery, gonna go up to the main soon. Oh nope, he's gonna place down a bunker here. Alright, so he's gonna be going 2 barracks, or Reaper. Actually, he's going Reaper right here. He's got that Tech Lab Reapers on the way, even a second one queued up. Looks like the drones have found it, and they're gonna continue on to kill off that bunker. I wonder if this SCV is gonna go for yep, he's gonna go for a second bunker. Now this is tricky, you know, this position and whatnot is tricky, just because it's harder to get to that SCV, but looks like he's gonna do a fair enough job just poking around, picking that off. But now the Reaper is on the way, so you have to be careful of that. And well, the Zerglings are out, going to be able to defend that if they stay on the creep. You know, the slow Zerglings, you know, since he does not have that gas, he got the gas a little bit later, since he got that pool and the hatchery up first. So I mean, he has slow Zerglings. He really has to be careful with these Reapers. You know, if he engages it off the creep, that Reaper's just going to kite them all day long. And yeah, here's the trouble. You know, you can get what he can, but he has to retreat before those Zerglings surround him on the creep. So it's just going to be a lot of back and forth action. But it looks like he's just going to watch the watchtowers for now while his buddy joins up with them. And well, the Zergling speed is on the way. It looks like it's about 2/3, almost halfway complete here. And well, there's a command center and a factory going down for Terran, so he's going to be expanding and getting some Hellions for a second push, I do believe. Possibly just going straight for tanks, but generally you do see some Hellions first. Just do some extra harassment. You know, Zerg likes to get as few units as possible early on, so it's always going to be a good call to get those guys out, you know, ASAP. You know, and you know, part of the thing is a lot of players say, okay, you get Reaper to do this early push, and that's it. You know, you harass it and kill as many drones as you can, and that's it. That's all you can use the Reapers for. But you can actually use them in the mid-game. You can actually go Reaper in the mid-game. Just get some Reapers, run around the map, deny expansions, watch watchtowers. You know, because Zerg doesn't want to build a lot of units. You know, if you watch the watchtowers with your Reapers, you know, it's going to be hard for Zerglings to actually kill them off, you know, unless there's like a ton of Zerglings. And then, you know, Zerg is just building extra guys that could be drones. So, you know, if he does end up doing that, you are going to be, you know, not far behind, even though you lost that Reaper. So, you know, just running around the map, killing off what they can, you know, spotting for overlords, and, you know, you can send something else to kill them off. Always going to be a good call. Looks like the Zerglings ran up that ramp, did a little poking at that supply depot, but looks like the Hellions are out now, and even a second factory on the way already. Now, Terran, you know, you don't get this command center up to expand early. If you lift it off and try to expand right now with your few units, it's not going to work out. Actually, it looks like he is going to go for it. But it's a little bit more tricky. You know, Zerg could do a timing attack and go in there and kill it off, you know, off these 2 bases. So you do have to be careful of that. You know, it's not really something that Zergs think about right now, you know, but that might be a little bit more of a thing in the future, you know, for this kind of, you know, if a lot of players start doing this, a lot of Terran players. But what I was saying was, generally, Terran players like to get that up, crank out a lot of extra SCVs before lifting it up and expanding. You know, you get some extra SCVs out, build up your army slowly instead of quickly, and then you can, you know, transfer a bunch of SCVs over at once and completely saturate both while defending it with all the units that you were making. So, I don't know, it's not a bad plan. But anyways, these Hellions do have the blue flame. Looks like they're going to go right in there, but there are some spine crawlers all around. Looks like that creep storm is going to be picked off there, and that Queen just taking some extra hits there, as well as this one Hellion. But the Hellions look like they're going to be just fine. XNJakeBake here just doing some pretty good zone defense with these spine crawlers, just keeping them around at very scattered locations, so that these Hellions have a harder time doing anything. And it looks like the Hellions, you know, they went for that spine crawler. They could have taken 2 hits on those drones, killing 3 or 4 of them. Or I mean 2 or 3 of them. But, you know, he attacked that spine crawler accidentally, and he's forced to retreat now. He even lost a couple of Hellions there. Not really the best choice, but I mean, it is what it is. You got to do what you can, because I mean, once you get those Hellions out, you got to do something with them. Because otherwise, Zerg is just going to get stronger and stronger. And XNJakeBake here just getting up a lot of Zerglings, going for those rocks at the gold. Not a bad plan whatsoever. You know, you want to take it out. I mean, if you have these extra guys, you might as well take it out. You know, use them, take them out early so that you can, well, you can kill them off. I mean, then you don't have to take out the rocks later when you want to expand. And it also means that, okay, you know, if you take them out right before you expand, it shows, okay, I'm expanding, you know. So if you take them out now, it's like, okay, when is he actually expanding? You know, if he does see those Zerglings. Anyways, the watchtowers are being held by the Terran. He's just having some pretty good map control right now, and all that good stuff. Killing off his own rocks as well with that tank and marine, and setting up yet another command center. Now, this is something I see a lot lately. Just Terran expanding a ton against Zerg. Now, this is extremely risky. You know, and if Zerg wanted to, he could do a huge timing attack with roaches and just demolish this. But the thing is, you know, Terran has scouted. He knows what Zerg has. You know, now of course Zerg could be building up his forces. He isn't. Well, he is a little bit. He's getting up those roaches, getting a bunch of upgrades. Just getting well, the Zergling speed and the roach speed and some armor and attack. I was looking for the. I thought he was getting the eventual sacks for the drops, but it does not look like it is so. Anyways, these Hellions now just poking around, doing some good stuff, coming off what they can. Looks like one Reaper was lost to those Zerglings that were put in there, and Zerg is expanding at the gold, which is, you know, somewhat. Both players just being really aggressive with their expanding. You want to get away with as much as possible. Zerg really needs to do some more scouting. Does not know what Terran has. He does not know that he has that command center, which means, you know, of course Terran is expanding, but he does not know that. So I mean, he really needs to consider getting enough units to defend this hatchery while it's going up at the gold. So it looks like, well, he's messed up quite a few roaches here, and since Terran is expanding, he really could do some kind of timing attack right here against that. Of course, the Thor is out now, but you know, it's just lots and lots of Hellions. You just gotta be really careful around them if you're going mass Zergling. But of course, you want a lot of roaches in this match, and not a lot of Zerglings, unless he's going Marines and Marauders. But against mechs, you definitely want a lot of roaches. Deal with those Hellions. They're good against Thors. They're good against tanks. You know, tanks do extra damage against them, but since they have such high hit points, you know, they can take it. They can take quite a bit of pounding, even from tanks. So anyways, the Hellions now roasting that expansion by Zerg. Zerg getting up that cancel, and it looks like the Hellions are forced to go around the long way, taking a lot of extra hits by the roaches. They really need to not attack the roaches, just kind of run away. He's kind of suiciding them in right now, and I mean, he really could have, or I guess he couldn't have because these rocks are still there. But you know, I could have at least circled around here and tried to leave somehow, because that's a lot of Hellions that you're just not having anymore. You know, those Hellions could be useful if he decides to go mass Zergling. Anyways, looks like XNJakeBake here going in for a kill, or at least going in for a good push against this expansion, which is a planetary fortress, so even if he does kill off all these guys, he's going to have a little bit of trouble with that. Anyways, the Thors are going down, lots of Thors are dying, and that tank's even going down. One Thor left now, and he's going to be taken out here. And these roaches just doing what they can, lots of damage here, and now these roaches just not enough to kill off this planetary fortress, deciding to go around to the main, and these tanks are in very good positions here, just spread out and able to attack. And you want them spread out, but not like too spread out. You know, this is a little bit too not spread out. You know, like that position was good, I think. But you know, since the roaches are everywhere, you don't really know if that's, you know, a good choice, since they could just run in there and kill that tank. Felt like there was a sneeze coming. Maybe it's still coming, I don't know. But anyways, Terran's getting up a bunch of turrets as well, you know, whether it be roaches or Mutalisks, you don't really, I mean, since he's going roach, you do know, but he's got to be careful with those tunneling claws, you know, they can get around, do a lot of good stuff. Looks like this planetary fortress is somewhat vulnerable. He really could just kill off that turret right now. You know, there's no units whatsoever, but of course Zerg does not know that. Zerg has to be really careful. And, well, it looks like he's going to go for the natural here. I really wish he'd go for that third. He really needs to kill that gold off. But it looks like he's going to go right into this tank defense and see what he can do. You know, the planetary fortress is somewhat defended since it is a planetary fortress, but at the same time, you know, he could lose a lot of guys that way. So it looks like Zerg here actually doing a good job just cleaning up, getting up a lot of, killing off a lot of tanks.